Another fun evening at Goodwood. Nice bit of training there, and quite a good fun race. Hopefully everyone was okay who came down in the crash, and well, we'll be back next week. Oh no, we won't. We'll be back the week after. So the brake has already gone pretty much straight off the line. I saw them roll off the front, but honestly, I just assumed we'd pull them back. Didn't want to bury myself chasing early like the other week. That was a total disaster. So I tucked in behind a few wheels and then pretty much nodded off for a few laps. Pace is starting to lift here. You can see the bunch lining out a bit. There's Richard New up the road going backwards. He'd mentioned something about backache before the race, and that sounded suspiciously like a major excuse to me. We'll see more of him shortly though, when he tramples over one of the crashed riders. To be fair though, I've had a bucket load of excuses over the years, so I can't talk. Here we are, and I'm just behind rider number 27, and I think those shorts might be on borrowed time. They're starting to be a bit translucent. Honestly, they look even worse in real life. Might be time for a kit refresh. The chicane here, and things are looking a bit sketchy. Watch number 13 and 36 just ahead. boom, they actually bump shoulders. 13 comes off his line a bit, maybe 36 drifts in. Either way, it's lap 1 and we're already testing the elbow pads. And to be honest, this is why you stay heads up in crits, even when nothing is happening. You never really want to doze off. Okay, here we are, and the pace is starting to ramp up again. I'm finding myself on Max's wheel for a bit as we move up, so if he's got that Insta 360 rolling, I really hope the angle's flattering. I don't want to look fat, and I don't want to look like I'm on the ropes either. We're rolling fast here, 48 to 51k an hour. The bunch is packed tight and you can feel the tension starting to rise. Not much room to move, everyone just waiting for someone to twitch. And then... and there it is. Richard New can't stop in time and rides right over one of the fallen riders. Wheels start filtering through, bits of weaving, a few gasps, and then the classic post-crash surge hits. I spot a gap and slide into it, though I'm not entirely sure I didn't chop Max in the process. I did apologise a lap later. Hopefully we're good. This is my dynamic FRC chart. Basically it's a visual of how hard I'm going above threshold throughout the race. You can see here the first 20 minutes was all over the place, repeated spikes, chasing, surging. By comparison the second half was a lot more steady, but the damage and the fatigue was already done. Here's my power duration curve from the race. The purple line shows what I hit on the night. You can see I didn't break any records, no PRs, but I sat up near threshold or VO2 max for long chunks, especially early on. And that's pretty typical of crits. You don't always go as hard as possible, but you burn a lot of matches trying to stay in the right place. Compared to my best efforts from the last 90 days, that's the yellow line, it's clear this wasn't a day for all-out power, but the repeated efforts still drain the legs. This is the quadrant analysis chart, and it shows how I produce power during the race. 20% of the time I was in quadrant 1, that's high force and low cadence, which tells you where there were a lot of accelerations and out of corner surges. Interestingly, only 15% of the time was in Q2, those proper smooth threshold type efforts. The rest was either spinning hard or coasting, classic crit power. This chart gives a different view. Time spent at high percentages of VO2 max. The blue line tracks how close I was riding to my VO2 max power throughout the race. And you can see it wasn't just sprinting out of corners. There were big blocks where I was hanging around 90 to 100%, especially early on when the bunch was stretched or I was on the front chasing. In total, I spent over 10 minutes above 85% of my VO2 max and more than 3 minutes above 100%. So even without going for the win, it was a proper engine test, and it certainly hurt my legs in places. Here we are, riding off into the sunset. Well, sort of. Low sun, last lap, legs are cooked, and everyone's getting ready to open it up. Not much left in the tank here, but you don't roll around Goodwood without at least trying. 58k an hour as we barrel into the final corner before the chicane. There's a block headwind down the finishing straight and my max of 865 watts. Yeah, not quite what was needed by a long way. I was about 3/4 of the way down the bunch, but hey ho, stayed upright and ticked off another one. My hardest 20 minutes came in at 3.9 watts per kilo, so yeah, hard, but not the worst race I've done this year by a long shot. Honestly, I probably should have tried to get into the break. Maybe next time. So, what's the takeaway? When the brake goes early, don't assume it'll come back. If you've got the legs, at least test the water. Otherwise you risk riding hard but never really being in the race. Still, another night of speed, skill and a bit of chaos. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, hit like, drop a comment, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks.